Welcome to today's deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
We're
We're going to the beach,
we are going to the beach.
but not for a vacation.
Not for like a relaxing vacation though.
Yeah.
More like
More like a very intense thought experiment.
yeah, we're going to this beach called On the Beach.
It's a film
It's a film
from 1959
based on
based on a book.
a novel by Neville Shute.
So imagine a world where nuclear war has already happened.
Oh, okay.
The Northern Hemisphere is gone.
Oh wow.
Australia is the last place left.
Oh no.
And they're just waiting for the radiation cloud.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's a chilling premise.
And to make it even better, we have sources.
Give us sources that'll help us unpack all this.
Like the themes, characters, impact.
Even a little bit of behind-the-scenes drama.
Oh, juicy.
So to really get this film,
Yeah.
you have to think about when it came out,
Okay.
the Cold War.
At the height of the Cold War.
Right. People back then really felt that.
Like nuclear annihilation.
Yeah, it wasn't just an idea for them.
Really puts it into perspective.
This film put those anxieties right on the screen.
And they had the perfect cast to do it.
Gregory Peck,
Ava Gardner,
Fred Astaire.
Anthony Perkins.
Yeah.
You know, you see On the Beach and you think,
World War III.
yeah, you think explosions. But this is different, right? It's not like a Michael Bay film.
Okay.
It's quieter.
More subtle.
It builds suspense in a different way.
Okay.
Through conversations, the quiet moments, the slow approach of the radiation cloud.
So it's more like a slow burn.
Yeah.
Is there like a scene that really shows this well?
You know that picnic scene?
Oh, okay.
They're all just enjoying a normal day.
Yeah.
But you know the radiation is coming.
Right.
That tension, you can just feel it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Normal stuff, but doom is right around the corner.
I get you. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly.
Like it's under your skin.
That's what makes the film so good.
Okay.
It makes you think about how it would feel emotionally.
Right. Not just showing you explosions.
It's about the human response.
Exactly.
How we react to something like that.
It's about their choices, relationships, trying to find meaning when nothing is normal anymore.
So each character has their own way of dealing with this.
Absolutely.
Like Dwight,
the Navy captain.
played by Gregory Peck.
Yeah, he's holding on to hope.
But he feels guilty too, right?
Played a role in what happened.
Right, right.
Then you have Moira.
Ava Gardner.
She's trying to find peace.
In her final days.
Acceptance.
That's so interesting, these different reactions.
It's like a spectrum of how we deal with a crisis.
But it's not just about how individuals react.
It's bigger than that.
What do you mean?
This wasn't some natural disaster.
It was us.
Humanity's choices.
Oh, I see, like collective responsibility.
And that's what makes the film still relevant today.
How so?
Think about climate change.
Okay.
The empty streets, the toys left behind.
It's a warning.
Our actions have consequences.
Oh, wow.
We aren't just watching,
We are shaping the future.
and those choices matter.
Powerful stuff.
It's about recognizing that
Our responsibility to make good choices,
for a better future,
a sustainable future.
a peaceful future.
And the film really explores that.
Guilt, remorse
Redemption.
in a world on the brink.
It's interesting, we often think of post-apocalyptic movies as survival.
Right, fighting zombies or whatever.
But this is a different kind of survival.
You're right.
The survival of hope, of meaning.
The human spirit.
Even when facing annihilation.
It's about the power of connection.
Love.
Finding meaning even when it seems hopeless.
You mentioned Dwight and his guilt.
Yes,
Could we talk more about that?
of course.
That struggle between hope and responsibility.
He embodies that.
Okay.
He's a leader
He has to keep order.
as the world falls apart.
But he knows he played a part in this.
That's human.
Trying to make sense of it all.
And hold on to hope.
You can see it in his face.
Absolutely. Gregory Peck's performance is fantastic.
He shows us that inner conflict.
He's trying to do his duty,
Maintain purpose.
but he knows what's happened,
He's trying to hold on to normalcy.
even though it's slipping away.
Stuck between the past and the future.
It's complex.
Makes you wonder how you'd react.
Would you hold on to hope like Dwight?
Would you try to find peace like Moira?
Or would you find another way?
That's the power of On the Beach.
It makes you think about these big questions.
About our values, how we face a crisis.
It's thought-provoking.
But before we dive too deep into that,
Sure.
let's talk about the other characters.
Okay.
We've got a great cast.
Star-studded.
But are the characters themselves interesting?
They feel real,
Real people?
dealing with this unimaginable situation.
That's what makes a good film.
Each character has their own story,
Their
its
motivations,
flaws.
coping mechanisms.
It's a tapestry of human experience.
Okay, so it's not just about the big names.
Right.
It's about the humanity.
On the Beach is so powerful because it connects with us on that level.
It's a human story,
People trying to understand what's happening,
trying to find connection and grace.
even when it feels hopeless.
We can't forget about the book, though.
The source material.
Right.
Neville Shute.
I read he wasn't thrilled with the film.
Yeah, he didn't think it gave everything.
What do you mean?
The emotional depth, the
Oh.
complexities of the relationships,
Oh, they responded to the end? He felt something was missing
a certain nuance.
from the book?
It's hard to adapt a novel to film.
Yeah, how do you show those inner thoughts and emotions visually?
It's a challenge.
Some things have to change.
Condensed, left out.
So Shute felt some of the heart of the story was lost.
It reminds us that film can't do everything a book can.
But the film still resonated with people.
Absolutely.
Started important conversations.
About nuclear war, about how fragile we are.
It wasn't just entertainment.
It sparked a dialogue.
About these critical issues.
It forced people to think about the consequences,
The need to work together.
to face this kind of threat.
It went beyond
It
fiction.
became a commentary on the real anxieties of that time.
Those Cold War fears.
And even though the threat of nuclear war might feel different now,
Yeah.
the film's message is still relevant.
About human vulnerability.
The consequences of our choices
I think that's a good point.
to shift gears a bit.
To the visual language of the film.
And its overall impact.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. On the Beach uses imagery, sound, pacing to create this amazing sense of dread.
Oh,
It really sticks with you.
Yeah.
The film uses a lot of wide shots,
okay.
showing these big, empty landscapes.
Yeah.
Like deserted beaches, cities, no one around.
It's like a ghost town.
Yeah, but it's more than just physical emptiness.
What do you mean?
It shows how empty the characters feel.
Oh, emotionally drained.
Their hope is gone, their world is gone.
So those empty landscapes, they reflect that inner feeling.
Exactly, and that was Stanley Kramer, the director's choice.
Oh, okay.
He didn't want a lot of action or special effects.
More focused on the emotional side.
Yeah, he wanted to show the world slowly dying.
Quietly dying.
Those empty spaces really show that,
And it's in black and white too.
which adds to the
Like
feeling.
bleakness, it's
Yeah.
different from modern post-apocalyptic movies.
They love their colors and CGI.
True. This one feels more
Real. It makes you pay attention.
focus on what's happening.
No distractions.
Like this is it.
Yeah.
The end.
No big hero moment, just the end.
It's unsettling.
It's that primal fear.
Wacky unknown.
Things beyond your control.
And the music, the score.
It's gold.
It adds to the atmosphere, right?
Haunting and melancholic.
Like a funeral march.
It's not your typical Hollywood score.
No big fanfare.
It's mournful, like crying for a lost world.
I've heard there's this piano melody that keeps coming back,
It's simple, but so powerful,
reflecting the mood of the characters.
giving voice to their emotions,
It's like another layer to the story.
adding to the emotional impact.
But it's not all depressing, is it?
No, you're right.
There are moments of tenderness.
Even humor.
Little glimmers of hope.
It's important to have those moments
Why?
because it reminds us that even in the darkest times,
There's still...
humanity, connection.
Yeah.
Think about the flower show scene.
The flower show.
Seems out of place, right?
With the end of the world coming.
But it's such a beautiful scene.
How so?
People are trying to find beauty in the midst of all this destruction,
Creating something beautiful.
even if it's temporary.
It's like holding on to what they know.
Normalcy.
Life, as everything falls apart.
It's so powerful because it shows that human spirit.
That need to keep going.
Yeah, to find beauty, connection, meaning, even when it seems pointless.
Human resilience.
We find ways to cope.
Find those bright spots.
It keeps the film from being completely overwhelming.
Gives us a reason to keep watching.
Reminds us that even in the face of annihilation, there's still beauty to be found, connections to be made.
And those moments, they usually come from the characters interacting.
Absolutely. Like when Dwight visits Moira,
At her family's estate.
they share a meal, dance, talk about their lives.
A moment of connection.
Humanity.
Even when the world is losing its normalcy.
It's like they're creating their own little bubble.
Even if it's just for a little while.
They're choosing to embrace that joy.
Rather than just giving in to despair.
It's such an important message
Especially now,
about how we need each other,
when things are tough.
especially when things are really tough,
Those relationships, they become even more important.
when you're facing the end.
Speaking of characters, what about Julian Osborne?
Fred Astaire.
Yeah, he's a dancer, right?
It's a surprising role for him.
But he does a great job.
He plays a scientist,
Who's obsessed with winning the Australian Grand Prix.
even though the world is ending.
A car race, really.
It seems strange, I know.
Why would he care about that now?
It's about purpose, distraction.
Oh, I see.
He needs something to focus on.
To feel in control.
Yeah, even if it's ultimately meaningless.
So he's refusing to give up?
Even in the face of the inevitable.
It's another example of how the human spirit adapts.
Finding purpose in different ways.
Like Dwight with his hope and Moira with her acceptance.
And Julian with his race.
Showing us how complex we are.
It's what makes the film so good.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you easy answers.
Just presents these different reactions.
And lets you think about them.
Like it's saying, this is how people might react.
There's no right or wrong way.
Just different ways of coping.
Trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense.
It's that complexity that makes it stick with you.
If you think.
You mentioned the director, Stanley Kramer.
Yes.
He was known for making films about important issues.
Social issues.
So what was he trying to say with On the Beach?
Was it just about the dangers of nuclear war?
But there's something more.
It's definitely a warning about nuclear war,
Okay.
but I think it's even bigger than that.
What do you mean?
He wanted to make people think about their own lives,
Their mortality.
their values, how fragile life is.
So it's philosophical, too.
It asks those big questions.
Like, what does it mean to be human?
How do we find meaning when the world is so unpredictable?
How do we face death?
Those questions are still relevant today.
Even more so now.
With climate change, pandemics, all the things we face.
It's like the film is saying we're not invincible.
As individuals or as a civilization,
Our choices matter.
they have big consequences.
It's sobering.
But important to remember.
It makes you think about what you leave behind.
The legacy we create.
It's not just a fun movie.
It challenges you.
It makes you think.
And in the end, it's deeply moving.
We haven't talked about the ending yet.
Does it?
I hear it's pretty controversial.
It's a powerful ending. It's unsettling. It doesn't shy away from the truth.
The bleak truth?
Some people found it too depressing.
You hopeless.
Others thought it was realistic, honest.
It definitely started conversations.
It's a testament to the power of the film.
That it makes you think, even after it's over.
It doesn't give you easy answers. It makes you grapple with the questions.
This is a film that needs to be discussed.
Analyzed, debated.
I'm definitely adding it to my watch list now.
You should.
But before we finish up this deep dive,
Sure.
why do you think this film, made over 60 years ago, is still relevant?
It speaks to something deep inside us.
Like what?
Our fears. Fear of the unknown, of loss, of death.
The big stuff.
And it shows those fears in such a raw way.
Emotionally honest?
It's unsettling, but also moving.
It makes us face those hard truths.
Look into the darkness and ask, what if?
And in a world that tries to protect us from those tough questions,
On the Beach forces us to confront them.
reminds us that we're vulnerable.
We're all connected
And our choices matter.
for a better future.
I think that's a great way to sum it up.
It's been a fascinating look at the film.
Definitely made me think.
It deserves to be seen and talked about.
A reminder that even in darkness,
There's still hope,
that we have the power to change things.
even if it's just one choice at a time.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to end our deep dive.
On the Beach.
I hope it made our listeners curious
About this powerful film.
about humanity, responsibility, the choices we make.
It's a film that makes you think.
And with that, we'll leave you to think about it all.
Maybe add it to your watch list.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
how about this?
Okay.
On the Beach is like a wake-up call.
Okay.
It reminds us that our choices, they matter,
Yeah.
and that we need to make the right ones
Yeah.
before it's too late.
Powerful. Yeah. It really gets that urgency across.
It's not just about the Cold War anymore.
Yeah.
It's about all of us.
Humanity.
Yeah. And the responsibility we have
For the future.
for the world we leave behind.
For our kids and grandkids.
Exactly.
And it feels so relevant today.
With everything going on.
Climate change.
Yeah.
Pandemics. Political instability.
We're not as safe as we think we are.
On the Beach reminds us of that.
It shows us how fragile things really are.
That we're not immune to disaster.
And that our choices, they really do shape our destiny.
For better or for worse.
Right.
It's a call to action.
Yeah.
To do something. To not just sit back.
To be aware of the consequences.
and to work towards a better future.
The film doesn't give us all the answers,
No.
but it makes us ask the right questions.
That's a good start.
I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive.
On the Beach.
It's been fascinating.
Really makes you think.
Definitely adding it to my watch list.
You won't regret it.
For our listeners,
Out there.
I hope this deep dive has made you curious
About On the Beach.
about the questions it raises.
About humanity, responsibility, and the choices we face.
It's a film that deserves to be seen.
Talked about, debated.
It reminds us that even when things seem dark,
We can still find hope.
and that we have the power to make a difference.
One choice at a time.
Beautifully said.
Thanks.
And with that, we'll leave you to think about it all, to reflect on what we've discussed.
Maybe even watch on the beach yourself.
It's a powerful experience.
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep